everybody, welcome to Sorry, Please Continue. If you don't know how the show works, people are going to tell stories, they're going to bare their souls, and then we're going to interrupt them like assholes. So that's the whole idea. My name's Jeremy. This is Amy Milton, my co-host, co-creator of the show. Our guest panelist, he's from around here. Let's give it up for Patrick Mahon. So the theme tonight is dating stories. This is one of our more popular themes that we've done, and I like to think that's because everybody's an asshole. So those of us that don't have stories about being an asshole have a story about dealing with assholes. That's what this is. So Patrick, do you have any dating stories? Anything that's going on?
About dealing with assholes?
Or being one, or just dating in general. Something that's not just, I'm in a happy relationship and things are going well. That's not a story.
I could go with the most miserable relationship. I
clearly do that.
Oh, is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Alright. Yeah, I dated a lady, I'll call her a lady, that was 17 years older than...
I think if you called her a lady to her face when she... Oh, I thought you said she was 17 years
Well,
old.
she was...
That's not a lady, that's a child.
No, 17 years older than me,
Oh.
than I am.
That
Were you
is a lady.
17?
Yeah, well, she was used to being called Milady.
Milady?
I was swinging a miss on that one.
No,
That's
she's
it.
from-
So was it 1800s?
Yeah, she was born then. No, she was 42, and I was 23.
Stop making us do math!
Alright. I told you what the number was.
You just yelled over it.
Alright. Anyway, I started banging this lady, you know, as a young man is wont to do, and I ended up knocking her up.
Oh.
Yeah. That's a true story. It's not that funny, guys.
You were like, she's a lady, I banged her. I'm like, are we going to keep going with the lady politeness or the banged gutter talk? Knocked up. Okay, here we go. Yeah,
Look,
there we go.
I knew she was a classy lady when we were talking about cunnilingus, and her move was, I can't listen to you talk about this, just show me. That's how we hooked up in the first place.
That's a bold move on her part. Which, it was probably not that bold because you were already talking about it, so her not walking away was a bold move.
It was a safe bet, I'm just going to accept it. Yeah, so I ended up knocking her up, and now I pay her $500
With
a month.
cunnilingus?
With cunnilingus, that's how potent I am.
And already he had it in his mouth. Oh, gross.
I drove with someone else's sperm.
Yeah.
Or his own, that's just where he stores it. Just like
Yeah, so now I pay her $500 a month.
Oh.
Sad ending to that.
Hooray for that story. Amy, do you have any dating stories that are worth it?
Kinda, yeah. I mean, when I was in college, I did like an internship over the summer, and there was this dude who was also in the internship who was always like really irritating and like talking to me and distracting me from work.
So he was a man?
Yeah. You know, it's just like, and the professor who was supervising was like, wow, Josh is usually way better about, you know, being productive and everything. I think he's distracted. And just like looked at me pointedly, and I'm like oblivious, like la la. And then he invited me to hang out one day. I'm like, okay, and we just go over to his house, and he's made dinner. And I
This has
think
date rape written all over
yeah,
it.
no, there was no date rape. There was just a lot of confusion. And then we played Wii boxing, and I won, and it was awesome. But the weird part, the part that was great, was like we were both English majors, and you know that scene in The Great Gatsby where he's like
Does
throwing...
it look like any of these people read?
I'm explaining it now. Okay. There's a scene where Gatsby, the rich man, throws his nice shirts at Daisy, the married woman he's in love with. Does anyone see the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it's like, so he has all of these like nerd t-shirts with like Chewbacca and shit. And I'm like, and you start just throwing them on the, like out, and I'm just like, do you know that reference?
Wait, hold on. He tried to play a Jay Gatsby power move with. Like, look at my fancy shit.
Yeah, with a Chewbacca shirt. And I'm like, nope. He then invited me out for a butter beer, and I'm like, I'm going to die.
What the fuck is a butter beer?
From Harry Potter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that lasted for one accidental date.
Date rape.
Yeah, no date rape. No, he was probably Milton.
Part of it, yeah.
So that's that.
So that's that. I don't really have any dating. I had one Columbia dating story where I came here to meet with a girl and then accidentally got really drunk and nothing happened. So that's the closest I have for now. Craig is like, I remember that. Yeah, sorry. I crashed at his place. So we're gonna get on with our regular storytellers. We got 3 or 4 people gonna tell stories tonight. We're gonna start off with a story called "You, Me, and Michael Makes 3." Let's get up for Michael Yetman. Hello.
Hello, everyone. Hang on, I'm gonna adjust. This is kind of. Can you hear me? Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crowded, so be sure. All right, Jesus. A little awkward.
Wait, you expected a laugh from that?
No, it's so quiet. Sorry, this is.
They're paying attention.
It's good. No, it's different. It's different.
He doesn't know what to do with it.
Do you want? Yeah, I don't. Do I just dive into this, or how do you want me to do it?
Okay, here's a tip, not just for you, but all the storytellers. I always have to iterate this at some point. Just plow through, or otherwise we're not going to shut the fuck up. We're bad at that. So.
Fair enough. Okay, great. Well, the precursor to this story, real quick, is this is a brag, but I didn't lose my I didn't lose my virginity until I was 22.
You had to clarify that wasn't bragging.
I wanted to stay pure. Right, no, but okay. So all my dating prior to that was just kind of me fumbling around and just getting what I can. Then I dated a little bit in college, figured out that kind of stuff. So I didn't date for 4 years after, 2-3 years after college. I worked in radio and I met a girl who...
Wait, so after you lost your virginity, then you didn't date for 2 years?
Yeah, I just thought, no,
or you
I'm not good
graduated
at
really
that.
early?
I'm
Okay.
not good at it, so I'm going to take a break.
He's going to take a gap year.
A lot of solo runs just to get myself right. But so I met this girl from while I was working in radio, and she was aggressive just right out of the gate, which is different for me because I'm not aggressive. And
Did you kiss a girl and you liked it? Is that what you did?
Yeah, at like 15.
Sorry, this is a callback to a really old Carrie Patey song.
Yeah, it is.
Katy Perry, not Carrie Patey. I don't know who that is.
It feels awkward on my end here because this is the
It's all
quietest
awkward right
Patrick's
now.
ever been, and that's
This
me
is
too.
yeah.
He's supposed to react to what you say, and you keep waiting for him to react first.
Well, in all fairness, in Patrick's history, there's just no waiting. He just keeps talking, and you just fill in the empty spots. But this girl I dated, she wanted to meet up after she came in for an interview. That's how I meet women now. She came in to do an interview for her place of business during my show.
Oh, I thought you meant for a job, like, with you. You're like, I interviewed her, and then she was like, so.
Very strict criteria. But after the interview for her place of employment during my show, she was talking. She said, "Oh, I'd like to go hang out sometime." So we met at a bar, and that went well. And so we decided to meet again. This is where it got weird. She wanted to meet at her house for the second date, and the second date included me picking up a pizza and watching To Catch a Predator.
She wanted to remember her first time, I think.
Wait, did you know going into it that To Catch a Predator was going to be part of it?
I think that's what makes it, like, she's like, get a pizza, I got a whole plan for tonight.
Yeah, he did. He brought an Xbox and everything.
I got a whole plan for tonight.
Yeah. I want to add
That's
in.
so vague but so specific at the same time.
This is also a girl that my dad met in college. My dad started college the same time I did.
Is this my baby mama?
He started at 40 and had a class with her.
Wait, your dad was the, you
My
and your
dad
dad were
was
the
my
second
dad.
Goofy movie? And then he helped your skateboard team win the championship?
He did. Yeah, no, that's, I mean, so it was a weird connection, but I show up with a
I could have gone
pizza.
with Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield, but
No, you
Nobody
nailed it. You
remembers
nailed it the
that.
first time.
Yes. You helped his diving team win? Okay, I'm done.
So I show up to her house with pizza, and she invites me in, and we start eating. She's like, "Oh, hang on, my favorite show is on." And
Oh,
yeah, should have been a red flag, but she clicks it over and knew the channel by heart and the time, and there's Chris Hansen.
It'd be worse if she said it was her favorite show and then had to look up the channel in time.
Then it would have obviously been a test.
Right.
Instead of probably just a test.
I thought she was joking when she turned it on.
What would that have been testing, Amy? Will this guy tolerate this with me?
See, in my mind, it was like whether or not he was like, oh yeah, this is what she's into. I don't know. Women have to be paranoid.
Well,
All the other women in the room go, what?
I don't relatable, guys.
Well, we watched 3 episodes of Catch a Predator because one's not enough. And we started just kind of hanging out, talking, and then she got too aggressive. It went from like just talking to she mounted me.
How could you? How could you? She not? You warmed her up with To Catch a Predator.
You tolerated her hobby.
So she mounted me and started being aggressive, and I thought this is great, but I want to be a gentleman. I was scared is what it was. But like she was pulling my clothes and stuff, and I know what's under there. So I
More clothes?
more clothes, lot more clothes. But then she's like, well,
It
don't
turns out you're just 2 kids on each other's shoulders.
do I have to talk like this is an AM radio show, or can I
I don't care.
say what she
Say
said?
whatever. Say whatever
She said, well, don't you want to fuck? No.
They're all looking
Yeah.
at you like bullshit.
They don't know me. But she said,
Hold on, did you want to fuck before she turned on To Catch a Predator?
Better question after.
Well, he already said he didn't have to.
mainly during. She.
That was the test.
God, this is hot. Let's keep going. But no, she just kind of scared me, is what it was. I wasn't expecting a small woman to mount me and ask me to fuck. But we did. And it was tolerable. And so
A step above acceptable.
yeah. So we started dating, and it was okay for the first month, and then as we
See a comment
Did you
there.
continue watching To Catch a Predator on a regular basis?
yeah every Monday
Oh,
night kind of a thing.
Was that the only time you had sex?
Romance. Yeah. No. That'd be. Oh, you know what?
Did she actually time your anniversary?
You know what? I can't say no for sure.
Yes!
Because we for sure saw each
Monday
other
nights
both
were the only
days.
time.
She needed that to get it up. Or the lady who...
Are you 14?
That's
I
her
am
Spanish
14.
fly.
So we kept dating. First month was great. She taught me my sexual limits as a person that everybody has. For instance, she put one knuckle into my asshole, and I learned that that's as far as I want to take that.
You didn't say one knuckle deep, you said just the knuckles.
She gave my asshole a noogie.
That's the corkscrew.
Just a corkscrew. She also wanted to do things sexually that I just wasn't prepared for, and way outside of my like just
You needed
fingers
season
in
2
places.
of To Catch a Predator to figure those out.
I mean, it was weird. Like for someone who's not experienced and not good with women in general, it was just weird. And she started to seem more like a whore than a person. At this point,
Were you paying her? That'd be the tipping point to she is a whore. There's definitely a line, and is money is changes hands.
yeah,
Also,
maybe.
whores are people.
Well, they are. Up to a certain price, they are. But
And then they're unaffordable?
They're gods.
they're untouchable. They're untouchable. But no, it was fine. We started being serious, and we're 3 months in, and then she started getting late night phone calls from her ex-boyfriend. That's not good, but you know what happens. Then he showed up at her house 3 times while I was there, at like way too late at the night, even past like drunk late, like 4 or 5 a.m.
Was it Chris Hansen?
Just comes out of the kitchen. Let's talk about this butt stuff. But she, so all this starts
Maybe I'm not familiar with that show.
That's probably the porn version.
I recommend season 4.
Let's
Just
talk
for the
about
record.
this butt stuff. I don't think he's ever said that in that show.
So we're about 4 or 5 months in. We are considered a serious couple, according to Facebook, and things are going swell, aside from her ex. And she was like, I need to be friends with him, and if you can't handle that, we don't need to be together. And I was like, I'm scared to be alone, so I'll allow it. It's not even...
Guys, they're bearing his soul.
It's not even... It wasn't even...
It's a comedy show, they can laugh.
Ah.
You guys can laugh.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, shit.
So I didn't allow it so much as just like I just didn't say no aggressively. I was just like this is a bad idea, but okay.
She didn't get affirmative consent to have that guy over.
So I was like, oh, friends from a distance, Facebook, texting, I can let that go. Then it got really aggressive to where she would be like, oh, I'm having lunch with him, oh, I'm having dinner. Red flags that I should have been aware of.
Everything that she does, you describe as aggressive, even when it's having lunch with another person.
Well, I mean, 4 times in 1 week. She worked 2
It is
blocks from
basically
me.
just shoving your face in the food. Like, I'm gonna have a sandwich.
4 times!
So
His work is near my work, okay? It's convenient.
we worked 2 blocks from each other, so it should have been easier for us, but you know, whatever. But
You just took it.
I
Just like that in Knuckles.
the young naive Michael took it. So we're dating, we go on these trips and things, and I'm slowly amassing debt that I can't control to keep her happy. And the only thing that we're actually doing anymore is just having sex. We're not. I mean, I know ideally this is what men wanted, but we weren't talking or really even hanging out. And
It's not really what a lot of men want.
her parents didn't know who I was. They heard my name, but they never physically met me or anything. And so a few months pass, and I decide she's having an outpatient surgery. I'm gonna surprise her. I'm gonna be sweet and sincere. I'm gonna come over with flowers. And I came over, I had a key to her place. I'm walking downstairs, I hear sounds, I'm like, oh, she's home, great. I unlock the door and I open it, and she is got her hands on the back of the couch with her ass popped out, facing the wall, with her ex inside of her. As I poke my
That
head
quickly
in.
after surgery?
Yeah, I know.
That can't be safe.
And
I've never had anyone inside me right after surgery. And I'm
Did she
careful.
tell you the doctor's prescription?
I just said I need vitamin D. So that's terrible. Don't give me that. So anyway, I didn't know what to do. I just kind of dropped the key, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. And like started to leave like it was my fault. And I was like, oh my god. I didn't know what to do. I was kind of shaking her.
She's like, well, the Catch a Predator was on and you weren't here.
I was gonna say,
What do you
did
expect?
get your security deposit back when you returned the key?
No, you know, what? I didn't live
I
with
don't
her.
know.
It's
Whatever.
just a key. I don't think.
Listen, I'm just saying words.
Okay.
Aren't we all?
So she goes, oh no, oh my god, it's not what you think. Classic line.
This isn't the first time.
Yeah. Somehow that was worse. So I just couldn't do anything. I just kind of dropped things and left awkwardly. And I drove around and I did the crying thing and then the yelling thing. It's like, oh, fuck her, I'll do better. I'm a real man. all this bravado. And I promptly got drunk and sent her a bunch of inappropriate text messages. One including of my dick. But what I was trying to prove.
I was about to ask what in that situation would be inappropriate,
Yeah,
and
I
you
don't-
answered me before I could
I
ask.
don't
The one thing, probably.
Also,
Other than your
I'm
butthole.
sorry. It was all my fault.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I don't know what I was trying to prove. But anyway, it spiraled out, and I let it, just let it go, and just disappeared from. We had, I just let it go Frozen style, and I started back to work that following Monday, and just ignored her and her business, didn't matter what they'd done in the news, and I just became like this shell of a person.
Oh, like her actual business she works for. Okay. I was like, how are you referring to this as business, and why was it in the news? Oh, no,
She was a serial killer, and I had to report on it. But so fast forward just a few months after that, the guy that she cheated on me with, her ex, they got together, he cheated on her, weirdly, and she started texting and calling me and telling me she was wrong, and it was her fault, which I knew already. It was definitely her fault. I wasn't.
You put that other dick in her.
You forced that into me. It wasn't me.
Wait, hold on, did she really have surgery, or was that an excuse?
Yeah, no, she had an outpatient finger
Oh.
So I know she didn't jack.
I bet it was her knuckle.
You gotta reinforce this statement.
We're gonna work him up to 2. It's gotta be stronger.
She got it replaced. She's like, this has been somewhere. From which you cannot return.
So I decided to meet her for lunch one day, and it was her explaining to me that she needed to work out her feelings with him. I didn't know that included sex. I've had a lot of ex-girlfriends, and that never was what we worked out. But she told me she loved me, and that we needed to get back together, which was a bad idea. And then she said, besides, I'm friends with your dad. How weird would that be?
And then Chris Hansen walked out.
But in the end, I've said her name on stage too many times. And
Is it like Beetlejuice? You say it one more time and she's here?
well, in all fairness, I do a story about this, and recently I said and spelled her name on stage because it isn't a particularly drunken rant. And I got messages from her from people who Facebooked her, calling her a whore. And she's going to be in Columbia soon and wants to get lunch. So that's
Michael Yetman, everybody.
Thank you.
That's great. Oh my God. I'm glad no one got murdered in that story. This came close. Hey guys, we're going to do the next story. This one's called Names Have Been Changed to Protect the Innocent. Let's give it for Jay Groharing. There it is. Let's hear your story about knuckles in your butt. No, that's not what this is about.
That's the theme of the evening.
Well, we might have
Ignore what I said. It wasn't funny. You can ignore it.
This is where this feels like we're being critiqued by a Christian youth minister, an ex-convict, and 1992 Janine Garofalo.
Yes!
I'm surprised that.
All right, my story was way back in the college days, and it involves me and my best friend at the time.
1992 Janine Garofalo. He's old.
Ironically, yes, you're right on board there. No, this is way back in the day, and I had a friend in college who was a girl, and we were best friends, and we were so close that everybody always thought that we were together. Like, we spent so much time together, everybody just always assumed that we were a couple, which is really, really awkward because we had a lot of mutual friends that were guys, so everybody would be like, so you guys are like banging, right? And then the next question would be like, why aren't you banging? And then the next question would be like, would you mind if I banged her? And it was like, this is the worst possible scenario.
Those people don't know how to change up their word usage at all.
No, you have to understand, like, all of my friends in college, and I guess I'm going to use kind of an outdated medical term, they were all retarded. So everything revolved around, you guys are totally banging, you know, and I don't want to ruin the suspense, but that never happened. So anyway.
Or congratulations, either one. I don't know if it's a good or bad thing.
But it was really weird because we hung out so much and we got along so well together that I think at varying times each of us assumed that we would get together, but our timetables never worked up.
I thought you were gonna say assumed we were banging, and I'm like, no, you were there.
Well, that's the conversations we would have. I'd call her and be like, hey, why aren't we banging, you know?
Wait, were you your friends?
You know, sometimes less is more, Patrick. Let's just
Hey.
Please continue. Okay. So, she gives me a call one night, and she wants to get together. And I'm assuming she's meeting me and our mutual friends. We're gonna, like, meet at the bar. So I'm like, well, I'm not sure what everybody's doing. Let me talk to people. She's like, no, just you. I want to talk to you about some stuff. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, this is when it happens. This is like in the romantic comedy where you find the two people finally realize that we're totally suited for each other. We're gonna get together. So I show up at the bar, and we're hanging out and talking, and it's going fantastic. And like my friends are sitting in another portion of the bar. Like my other best friend, who was a guy, who I also didn't sleep with, just to get the suspense out of the way. He's like looking at me as we're talking throughout the night, and he's giving me like, he's trying to gauge how well it's going. And I'm kind of giving him one of these like, maybe, I'm not sure, but we'll see. And this goes on for like an hour, and we're having the best time of our life.
She didn't notice you just doing the
I wasn't doing it in front of her. It wasn't like she was sitting there and I'd be like, hey, how do I was like, when you go to the bathroom and what?
finish him. That's all I can think about is gladiators.
So we're talking and it's going great. And so I'm kind of considering like, we're like actually on a date. This is what people would do on a date. And it was weird because I knew her so well, but we'd never actually been on a date before. So we're sitting there, and out of the blue, a guy comes and sits down next to me. And his name, and I'm going to change it because I don't really know his real name anyway. His name was Dave. And Dave happened to be the road manager for the band Widespread Panic. Now, I don't know if you guys know who Widespread Panic is. Think like a less successful Fish. Or a more successful string cheese incident. Somewhere like in the middle.
So jam band.
Yes, a jam band that in '92 people were really excited about, let's put it that way. So Dave is a really, really nice guy. And he starts talking to both of us, me and this girl that I might or might not be on a date with. And he's buying me drinks, which I thought was really, really nice. And he's telling us all these cool stories about being on the road. And at the same time I'm trying to talk to Dave, I'm trying to talk to this girl who I might be on a date with. So it's kind of getting a little bit awkward. But Dave is buying me a lot of drinks, so I'm willing to put
Is
up.
he buying her drinks too, or just you?
No, just me.
Oh.
See, it was a weird thing. Dave was buying me drinks, and I was buying her drinks. So at a certain point, I'm like, Dave, why don't you just buy her drinks? And we'll have the
let's
middleman
just-
here.
It's like telephone.
I'm seeing a knuckle coming in on this one too.
Let's not spoil the suspense here. So basically, we're sitting there, and after a while, because it's going pretty well. You know, I'm pretty happy about everything.
It's going pretty well.
Yeah, you and Dave are hitting it off.
You're not quite sure which of the three of you was the third wheel. Yeah, it's going pretty well.
Is the Widespread Panic your asshole? No? Alright. Well, that was more clever than that.
We're just going to let you wallow in that for a second.
Yeah, we're just gonna let that hit there.
Alright.
So it's going pretty well, and we're getting kind of that like romantic comedy moment. You know where like the people they look at each other's eyes and it gets close and then they get
And then the
distracted and they
director's
don't
mom
kiss.
fakes an orgasm.
Right,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
you're watching Catch a Predator. Well, anyway, so this is happening.
I'll have what she's having. That's
And
what
we're
I'm gonna say.
Dave gets up to go to the bathroom. And so we have finally like a private moment after a while. And she's like, well, what I wanted to talk to you about, and I'm thinking this is where she's going to say, you know, we should be together.
We should be banging.
Yes, to use the parlance of our times. We should be banging is what I'm expecting to come out of her mouth. And she asks me if it would be fine with me if she dated one of my friends.
Why does everyone keep asking you for permission in this story? They're all like, can we be banging with her? She's like, can I be banging with them?
I'm the
Why are you the
gatekeeper of who
gatekeeper?
bangs who. So I'm gonna like.
I'm trying to think if any of my groups of friends have a gatekeeper, and I don't think any of them do.
Things were different back in the 90s, my friend.
Ah.
Totally different dating landscape. So I'm kind of crestfallen, which would probably be the best word. And I'm like, I guess.
It's a good word.
I guess that's okay. And I obviously looked really, really confused to her. Because she left about 15 minutes later. And so I'm talking to Dave again. And Dave says, yeah, it's getting a little bit late. We're having a party back at the hotel room. And I'm like, oh, cool, this is a band party, right? He's like, yeah, we're going to smoke some weed. And I'm like, oh, so like the band is going to be there? And he looks at me and he goes, no, it'd be just you and me. And I realized, you know what?
Hold on, he invited you to hang out with him by saying, we're having a party.
Yes.
That's pretty presumptuous of him. So, we're having a party, but it's only a party if you show up. And even then, not quite.
So the gist of
She
it was...
pimped you out, is what happened.
No, she didn't even know Dave. Dave was just this other guy.
I mean, this guy came and interrupted what seemed to be a date. on the hunch that the dude is gay.
Well,
That's a power move right there.
He asked me at one point, I should have saw this coming, because he was like, is that your girlfriend? I'm like, well, I don't know. And he's like, oh, really? You seem
We're really
very
good
intrigued."
friends.
I was like, oh. Now, the weird thing was,
Etc.
for the first hour and a half, I thought that I was on a date. And then very abruptly, I realized I was not on a date. And then about 2 minutes after that, I realized, yeah, I'm totally on a first date right now. So
So I went back to the hotel, and then what happened?
well, I looked over at my friends. I think my friends had realized what was going on at this
Was it a noogie or a corkscrew? No. All
He's
right.
fixated on this.
We found the number.
You keep going back to that well.
It was
Icebox, right?
How many knuckle references can we say and they'll be funny? The amount we've done minus like 6. It happens on the show a lot.
You talk about Dave being presumptuous. You look at the audience like, they love knuckle asshole jokes, right?
Maybe if we keep doing it, it'll come back.
So I'm looking
Please
at my
continue.
friends, and my friends are laughing because at this point they realize, like, A, she left, that's really awkward, it's funny to watch your friend be awkward. But B, it got way more awkward because Dave wants to bone my friend. Out of the blue, like basically his selling point was, hey, I'm the manager of a band you probably really don't give a shit about. But I have weed, so come on over.
Oh yeah.
I can get you a phone number. Too.
I'm into it.
So I did not go to Dave's hotel room with him. I went home, and that is my dating story.
Let's give it up for Jay. So, we normally do an intermission after 2 stories, but it's snowing. Do you guys want to keep going? Yeah. This next guy, I don't know what his story is called. Let's give it up for Josh Beck. And then just a house clearing moment. Hey, is that Spencer back there? You still done tell a story?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, he's after you. Okay. Hey guys, I thought I'd have time at intermission to do this.
So, the reason I didn't have a story title is that I am what you call a serial dater. I have been on several bad dates, ranging from things like women who were afraid to die in their sleep, so they would set an alarm every 15 minutes.
I was about to say, aren't we all? But then you added details. And I was like, never mind. Not aren't we all? Aren't just she.
That's like believing you can prevent it as well. That's
It's like she thinks the sleep is what will kill her. When the opposite is true.
Just last week, I went on a date with a girl who had no personality. Actually, she compared her personality to Hitler.
Oh.
He was very animated.
He was very charismatic. Bold mustache choices.
He was an artist, he had opinions, he wrote a book. You could do worse than Hitler.
He was very passionate about a number of things. We could all stand to have these superficial similarities to this guy. And he got things done. Not saying they were good things, but he didn't half-ass it, is what I'm saying.
to
Is that what she meant?
yep, to me screaming during my first kiss with another girl, where we shook hands and I went home.
What did you scream and why?
To-
I need this detail.
I screamed in fear.
Of what? Like, was there a spider on her face?
No, it was a giant tongue that went in my mouth and I wasn't expecting it.
Oh.
That's
Gross.
the goal.
No, not the way he's describing it.
No,
That's not the
it was
goal.
frightening.
Did you lead with the tone?
It was set to the sultry tones of So Cold by Breaking Benjamin, which also is a terrible way to set the mood.
This sounds like a terrible evening.
But this isn't what I was going. These aren't the stories I'm telling. I'm going to title this story Sweet Child of Mine.
Oh, great.
Title of that. This story is my first experience going on a blind date with somebody. This is all one night. I was just out of high school. I graduated and going to college at community college in St. Charles. And I was single, as I had been single my entire life at that point. Not without trying. I tried to dance my way into someone's heart.
Yes.
To
That's a fact that I have just to blurt out yes for. There's nothing short of that in my enthusiasm.
And yeah, tried to buy someone's affection with a Mickey Mouse figurine. That also didn't work. I was over at a friend's house down the street. My friend I grew up with, his name's Danny. He was dating a girl at the time. We went down to his house to play dominoes, and I was killing it, conversation, as I always do. And the girl was like, "Oh, you're really funny, Josh. Do you have a girlfriend?" And I said, "No." And she said, "Well, you want to go on a date with one of my friends?"
And you slowly pulled a Mickey figurine out of your pocket. And your friend's like, "Stop it!"
I said, I wasn't dating anybody, and I said, "Sure." She said, "Well, what kind of girls do you like?" "I have plenty of girlfriends." I said, "Oh, I don't care, just someone who has a good personality."
What kind of girls is kind of a creepy question to ask somebody.
Well, and I don't know that answer.
Neither do I. I don't even know what that means.
I was playing Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic on my prom night, so I don't know that answer. Still don't know that answer.
I think it's a bad question, though.
Yeah, well,
what kind of girls?
I said anyone that I could have a conversation with, someone
There
who
you
has
go.
a good personality. And she said, "Do looks matter to you?" And I said, "No, well, looks don't matter as long as I can have a conversation with them."
The answer is always kind of.
So she said,
The answer is whatever is socially acceptable for me to say.
Yeah.
Just say that, and then they'll know they're being an asshole for asking
Right.
that.
she says, "I have the perfect girl for you." I said, "Okay." And so these were the days, kids, before cell phones were popular, and it was the days of this thing called AOL Instant Messenger.
Yeah.
Yes. One cheer for AOL.
What's your screen name?
My screen name it was Robot859, as is my Xbox handle and PlayStation 4 handle. I don't
You've
even.
been single this whole time?
Yes. So, she had messaged me on Instant Messenger. We talked for just a second, and she said, "Oh, I want to see what you look like." So I sent her my senior photo, which was me looking pretty sharp in a tie. And I said, "Well, let me."
Did you scan it, or did you just have it on your computer? The idea of her asking you that, and you either going into the office or going down to the library. Just scan it. Just.
My dad had a digital camera.
Oh, okay.
So, but what my parents did, same with when
So
my.
you took a picture of your senior
They
picture?
took a photo of it to save money on buying the actual photos. Same with my college. Same with my college photo. So they photoshopped like a copy off the photo, so now it looks legitimate. Anyway.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
I sent that to her, and she had sent me a photo back, and she said, I'm the one on the left. And I downloaded the photo. There are 3 girls. Well, 2 girls and 1 giant thing that was on the left side of the picture. I'm not necessarily a vain man, but I have my limits. Taller than me and fullback for the Saints is probably my limit.
Was she wearing a helmet in the picture?
And she told me her name, and her name was Imogene. So I wrapped up this
How was that spelled? And what?
Imogene, Imogene. And I messaged my friend Danny, and I said, do you know what's happening? And he said, yes, I'm sorry. And I said, I don't want to do this. And he said, well, you have to. We're going on Friday. Okay. Yeah, fucking Danny.
This is one before, well, I still don't know what I would do in this situation. Before you knew what to do in a situation like this, and also none of your friends knew to not fucking throw you under the bus.
I did what any sane man would do, which was frantically call my sister's friends to see if they wanted to go on a date with me on Friday, so I had a legitimate reason to not go.
You're fighting fire with fire, you're like, I can only get out of this date if I have a date.
Yeah.
I can't pretend to be sick. I can't do anything, I just have to have another date. It's not real.
I ended up getting a date, but on Saturday, and that was the girl who I screamed at when she stuck her tongue down my throat.
So that was a good weekend.
Yeah. But I was feeling good. I was like, okay, well, now there's no pressure on this blind date. I'm just going to have a good time, and I'll make sure that she has a good time, just so I don't want to cause any trouble.
Did I miss you trying to get out of this date? Like,
it was a very...
you were trying to get out of the date, right?
Yes.
Not very well.
And you found a solution and just went anyway?
My solution was that I went on another date on Saturday, and so I was like, well, I'll just go to this one, and then on the date, I'll just casually say...
Now
no,
I can
I'm
say
not.
I'm kind of a high school player, or whatever time period. I technically went on 2 dates with 2 different women. One started horribly, one ended horribly.
So we meet at this place, and it turns out...
Where'd you go?
Chuck E. Cheese.
It turns out...
It's called Sweet Child of Mine is the name
Just
of the
wait a
story.
second. The first date is at a male beauty pageant. We went to...
Wait, hold on, this was like a group date?
It was a double date with my friend Danny and his girlfriend.
And which one is this that you were going on a date with?
Imogene.
The large woman.
The larger one.
Was she trying to make you feel...
She was in the competition. So I told Danny in the parking lot, we drove our separate cars, and I said, listen, Danny, I don't want to do this, but I'm gonna power through it. He goes, just have a good time, get over it, and then we'll move on. Because he had some stake in it too, because it was his girlfriend's friend. So I was doing him a solid by going. That's pretty much why I was still committed to going. I didn't want to ruffle the feathers of that relationship.
You have awful friends.
So that's just one.
Also, they were like late teenage years. Everyone's a dumbass and doesn't know how to interact with other human beings.
I saw, and I ironically ended up seeing another one of my friends there, and I saw Imogene from a distance towering over everybody. And I went to my other friend and I said, this is going to be terrible, I don't want to do this. And he gave me a hug and said, it's okay, you'll be fine. And they gave me the confidence to walk up to Imogene, full confidence. I was like, all right, well, let's just have fun with this. So I go, Imogene, I'm a Josh. Nice to meet you.
That's actually a smart move. Make her hate being around him.
I thought it would be hilarious, a nice little. little funny icebreaker, and I had gotten the, what do you call it, the, 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 the meanest death stare I've seen. I still see it.
When you close your eyes at night.
She did not think that was funny. And I was like, well, all right, it's going good. And so I decided that I wasn't going to talk to her the rest of the day. We sat down for the male beauty pageant.
So wait, hold on. Is this like a thing? How did you end up there? Whose decision was that?
This was Danny's and his girlfriend's decision.
Like ironically, or like they know someone, or they're betting on it?
They
Like,
knew
what is-
they knew someone in the betting.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of a reason why they would
We're all
drag.
bred in this race.
Hey, let's set up our friends and bring them to the weirdest idea that we could think of.
It was very uncomfortable. There was a swimsuit competition and it was uncomfortable. Let's put it that way. I don't know. I didn't choose to go there.
I know you didn't choose. I'm just confused that anybody chose to bring you there for a first date.
We sat down before the competition started, and his girlfriend has some oblivious idea that this is going well. And she goes, okay guys, it's time to break the ice. And I said, I think the ice is pretty frozen right about now. Kind of enjoying it. And she says, who would win in a fight, Superman or Batman? And Imogene threw her.
no.
Oh, she had a snarl, by the way. It was like a tooth that kind
called
of
a
stuck in
hairlip.
different directions. But I feel so. Are you recording this, Bill?
Oh yeah.
God damn it. She said, Superman because he has superpowers and he has laser vision. And I interrupted her and I said, fuck you, it's Batman. Batman doesn't.
You're doing a good job at what you should have been planning to do from the beginning. Seem repulsive so you don't have to go on a second date. But yeah, you basically pulled that they've already covered this in the comic books card?
All I said was, fuck you, it's Batman.
Oh,
I
you
interrupted
didn't
her.
elaborate.
No.
You just let the silence hang there. And what did she say when you said that?
Nothing. Probably some heavy breathing. So we finished, the beauty pageant wrapped up, and Danny was like, all right, well, let's go to dinner. And, which meant I'm paying for dinner. And I was like, well, let's go somewhere where it's like maybe like $7 or something. So we went to McDonald's. Took my date to McDonald's for dinner.
I thought I was gonna nail it with the Chuck E. Cheese.
No, you were close. And lo and behold, Danny decided to drive his dad's truck that doesn't have an extended cab, which meant I was stuck driving Imogene in my car. It was a plan of his girlfriend's that we would hit it off on the car rides to and from dinner. So we went to dinner at McDonald's.
Everyone thinks they're good at setting people up until they fucking do this.
It was
Everybody
very
does this at
comfortable.
some point. But
So I was like, okay, well, let's just have some small talk on our way to dinner. And I said, so what do you like to do?
people keep in the story saying, let's have some small talk, or let's break the ice.
But this is in my head.
Oh.
I was like, all right, well, let me just
I
ask
thought you
some
meant you
questions.
turned to her, were like, let's have some small talk. And she's like, I think we're past that.
Well, I realized that I had made a few missteps in being charming. And so I was like, okay, well, what do you like to do? And I don't know. She said something not interesting, and that was. And she said, oh well, I'm a cheerleader. And I said, really? She said, yeah. I said, so, are you like a wrestling cheerleader or a hockey cheerleader? Which, for those of you who aren't familiar with bigger high schools,
Yep.
those are the leftovers of the football and basketball cheerleaders.
Yeah, it's like,
They have to order sizes and.
it's literally the people that didn't make the other audition. Or I guess sometimes transferred to your school halfway through, I don't know.
And she said,
It's
no.
not a nice way to say it.
No, I'm a football cheerleader. I said, really? Huh.
Oh no.
And that was about the end of that conversation. We went to McDonald's. She ate her meal in a half, and it's fine. People have their.
You were afraid if you told her no, she would kick your ass. Those are prison rules, Josh.
She
was an athlete, so.
trying to make weight, I guess. And
It's not a cheerleader thing.
and she started. We started talking about. I think. All right. Well, she wasn't that smart, and she started talking about how excited she was for Star Wars Episode 3 because it was coming out in like a month then. Put it in timetable wise. And I told her she was an idiot and those movies were terrible.
Were you still trying to be charming?
No. Danny heard me say this, coupled with also I'm a Gene, I'm a Josh, and pulled me aside.
We said the I'm a Gene, I'm a Josh a second time at the day.
Maybe it's funny now that I've been an asshole for 2 hours.
And he said, what the fuck are you doing? And I said, I'm trying, I don't know, I'm trying to have a good time. I'm sorry? Well, you have to drive her home, so just hang in there. And I said, all right, cool.
How did she get there? If you have to drive her everywhere all of a sudden.
So I drove her home. And I said, I started talking about I just purchased my car after I graduated high school, my new car, and I was talking about it. And I said, yeah, I really like it. I'm getting ready to go to Truman, you know.
Yeah, he looked at me because we knew each other from there.
Yeah, and was excited about that. And I said, so what kind of car do you drive? And she said, oh, I don't have a car. I'm 15.
Oh.
What?
I was wondering how she was a cheerleader if you guys were college graduates.
She said, yep.
So, okay.
And I said,
I'd like to... So you...
Yeah.
So now you have, here's the thing though, now you have a legitimate reason to bitch out the person that set you
Oh,
up.
I did.
That's not, she's fat. Because that's not going to work. You can't be like, fuck your friend, she's fat. You can be like, fuck you. That would have not been legal.
Yeah. Did Danny's girlfriend ever admit she hated you? Or was it always just passive aggressive bullshit?
it was, we didn't talk after,
Okay.
she heard me through the phone, several curse words strung together after I had dropped her off at her house, and I've never seen her since then, but
She's probably dead.
I was set up on a blind date with a 15-year-old. I was 19.
How old was the
This
girl
is
that set
every
you up with
excuse
her?
to catch a predator gives. I was set up, I swear to God. I swear to God. Is that why you gave your screen name at the beginning? Because you knew it was already off the table?
Bill, are you still recording this?
Yep.
So wait, how old was the girl that set you up with her?
She was 17. 19, 17. But it was,
Jesus Christ!
you know, well,
That's within the range of acceptable.
Fuck that friend, dude! Are you...
Does your friend know how young she was?
I would assume so.
Oh, yeah.
What did he do to pay you back? Like,
I think in all of our defenses here, and this, I'm walking a very tight
Dude, she was a cheerleader, man. You don't say no to that.
bottom of the pyramid. That's all I
You gotta work your way up. You start at
You don't work your way up. There's relative body sizes. They all play roles.
It's like saying an offensive lineman works his way into being a receiver. No, you have your role.
You get good at it. They're all necessary. What? Sports, positions.
Sorry, I keep calling cheerleading a sport. I don't know.
I think it's not unreasonable for a 19-year-old to date a 17 or an 18-year-old. I feel that's pretty legitimate. It happened in
the eyes of the law.
movie.
Yeah, there's a window. There's some kind of.
I think that's dependent
Yeah.
upon. Let's not.
It doesn't go down to 15.
Are
It's
you
like a
trying to
2-year gap.
justify statutory right now?
I'm saying it's not statutory if she's 17 and you're 19 in Missouri.
I don't think
Also,
it's-
17 is legal in Missouri. I only know that because a comedian that I know just turned 17 last year, and it's all he fucking talked about.
Michael, you've seen a lot of To Catch a Predator. Do you know?
I got all this information from a teenage comedian that's all he talked about for like a year. You guys know Stryker.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, I could have chosen hundreds of stories, honestly, but I felt since that was the tone that seemed to be awkwardly set, that I would talk about my date with a minor. So, I'm sorry.
Josh Beck, everybody. Oh, man. That's all of the wrong things for setting someone up with another person. So we've got one more story tonight. I don't know the name of the story, and I don't know Spencer's last name. Let's give it up for Spencer.
It's the Rostic.
Spencer Ross.
Rustic.
Spencer.
You want to blow a horse, you do it the American way. Get your own goddamn barn. Buy a colt. Raise it so it trusts you. Then blow it every year at Christmas Eve like a good fucking American would. And you'll never get arrested. Now, do you guys feel uncomfortable just a little bit? I heard a no, but an understand.
You're in Missouri when you're carrying a guy on stage telling jokes about this sort of shit.
Right, because it's a story based in Wisconsin. Good point. Good point. Good point. Yeah, you win on that. I'll leave it upbeat about love, though. I'm single.
Who has a horse?
Yeah, who has,
He looks a
guys, this is my rider. We travel together. Currently we're touring 0 cities. You can catch us on the late show. That's just us on my couch talking about how funny it would be to interrupt my set. I'm just teasing. You're fine. Because I'm super hilarious. I do like love advice. Does anybody get unsolicited love advice from people that shouldn't give it to you? She shook her head vehemently, yes. Yeah, like all the fucking time. Who gives you advice the most?
My single best friend.
Your single best friend? Guy or girl?
Girl.
Girl? What's her problem, you think? She needs to get laid? What's her name? I'm teasing. I'm 0 threat. Haven't you heard? I get advice from my parents. My mom specifically loves to give me advice. My mom dated one guy one time in like 1950. They went to a sock hop and now they're married. So I wonder if she doesn't understand modern dating. This is her advice the other night. She called me and she says, Michael, you're a good guy. And I see you're trying to become attractive for women. Like, that's a weird, first of all, it's like a double-sided thing. Like, you're ugly, but you're trying. And she's like, but if a girl likes you, she's going to like you for what you have on the inside, your heart. Aw. My dad takes the phone and he goes, look, your mom lies to you because she loves you. There's only 2 people in the world that care about what you look like on the inside, Michael. It's doctors and serial killers. Get your ass to the job. Guys, I'm Michael. Thanks for your time. All right, one more time for Michael Gitman.